In this video, we're going to find the antiderivative of the product 4x sine of 3x. So this is an integration by parts because we can't just split up an integral over multiplication. And we can use these two parts as is. If you want, you can pull out the 4 and leave it till the end, but I'm seeing two distinct parts right there. And I know I want my u to be the 4x because when I calculate my du, it's just 4 dx, and that gets rid of an x for me. My dv has to be what's left, which is sine of 3x dx. Now, we should recognize this as a composition at this point, and when we do the antiderivative, it is going to be a negative cosine of 3x, but think about if we took the derivative of this, we'd have to multiply by 3 by chain rule. So if we take the derivative, antiderivative, we got to divide by 3. And I'm going to go ahead and put the as a 1/3 out front. You could write the whole thing over 3, that'd be fine as well. Putting integration by parts back together is our uv minus the integral, of v du. So uv is straightforward. It's 4x times negative 1/3 cosine of 3x. Those are no longer in the antiderivative. Those are done. Minus the antiderivative of v. So minus 1/3 cosine of 3x du times 4 dx. So this still needs to have the antiderivative taken, but before we do that, let's clean up some of these constants. So multiplying the 4 and the negative 1/3, I get minus 4/3 x cosine of 3x, and as I mentioned, that's out of the antiderivative. We're done with that. We're going to have another 4/3 here. Initially it'll be negative, but when I pull it out, the negative times the negative will become a positive. So I'll have positive 4/3 times the antiderivative of cosine of 3x dx. So let's just go ahead and go down to the next line. This part's going to be in there, negative 4/3 x cosine of 3x plus 4/3 in our antiderivative here. Very similar to what we had to do here. The antiderivative of cosine is sine, so that'll be a sine of 3x. And as we mentioned before, if we were doing the derivative, we'd have to multiply by 3 because of chain rule. So the antiderivative, we have to multiply by 1/3. And we'll have a plus c here at the end. So simplifying all our constants, we got minus 4/3 x cosine of 3x plus 4/9 sine of 3x plus c.